So foraging can add a very sustainable foundation to your herbal practice by utilizing what is already growing abundantly in your area.
One of the foundational skills when you're going to forage is to know toxic lookalikes and other hazardous plants in your area. Our biggest threats here in the Ozark is our poison ivy. This plant is in the cashew family. Got leaves of 3. Generally, the side 2 will look like mittens when you're looking at it, and then the front will be some kind of oval shape. However, poison ivy likes to trick people a lot and change its shape both over the course of the seasons as well as from plant to plant. I have some more down here. As you can also see, the front leaf sticks out a little bit from the back 2, and it will always do this. Though not considered a beginner plant, Phytolacca americana, or otherwise known as pokeberry, is a very prominent, culturally significant plant here in the Ozarks. These berries start off in green clusters like these in the end of summer around July, and then will turn into berries like these blue ones around August and September. These make a very great source for our birds and other pollinators in the area, as well as being a medicinal source for our indigenous cultures. Leaves on this plant are oval and toothless, meaning that there are no serrated edges or no tooths along the margins of the leaf. Berry is nice and tall and generally sticks out top even our highest grasses here. You can tell that this is pokeberry and not an elderberry, which it commonly gets mistaken from, because all of the berries stay on this one stalk. I'm gonna try to bring it down. These berries have already been eaten by birds, but each one of these little flower nub looking things generally hold a berry, whereas our elderberry usually grows on what is called an umbra. Which just means it's umbrella shaped and not this straight line. This stalk is also bright pink all the way down. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest things I try to teach my students here is to recognize the plants no matter what their stage. So we looked at pokeweed earlier. While it's really tall, it's got a hot pink stem, and the berries are present. But this one, kind of buried down here in the leaves, is a new growth. That hot pink stalk that you see get even more hot pink as it grows like we saw before. Recognizing the same plants no matter what the stage and no matter what time of year is highly important, especially as you start getting into harvesting. Some things need to be harvested earlier or later in growth cycles. So watching the same plant throughout, several different seasons or even for a year or two will help you become more confident in utilizing those plants. Here we have some lance leaf plantain or Plantago lanceolata. We have 2 main different types of plantain here in the Ozarks. We have this one, and then actually right beside it, we have Plantago major, which is our broadleaf plantain. Obviously it's later in the year, so our plantain is starting to get eaten by the bugs. So when harvesting this one, generally we would look for the green leaves, like this one, that show no damage, look vibrant and healthy green. And then we would go ahead and pluck that. When pulling these, this also shows one of our best identification characteristics of this plant. And I just broke it, but right in here in the veins, we get these little elasticy parts. You can kind of see it right there. And these elastic veins show us that this is definitely, without a doubt, our plantain. Plantain is really good for skin conditions like bug bites or wasp stings or bee stings. And you would just take these leaves and chew them up to make a poultice. And then once all the good chemicals within it, you can kind of tell as I'm breaking it down, start to moisten up, then you can slap it right on any bug bite or sting, and it'll help soothe that area. Have our friend mullein. Mullein is really good for our respiratory tract. We know this is mullein because it grows in a rosette, meaning that all of them kind of stem from this middle point, creating layers. There is no main stem until its second year when it shoots up its flower stalk. Other than that, it grows really close to the ground, stays in this really cute little rosette the whole first year. And then, like I said, it'll grow into a giant flower stalk the second year before dying back and letting the new babies take over. This lovely beauty here is a goldenrod. There are many types of solidago species. We can tell that that's what this is because the stalk grows really tall and upright. It's a rod, like in its name kind of states, a goldenrod. These leaves are also alternating on opposite sides of the stalk, and they do kind of also rotate as they move up the stalk, creating kind of a spiral. All of the main flowers are going to be at the top. Because it is fall, these ones are mostly dead, but generally you would harvest the top bits with bright yellow flowers, as well as the bright green leaves right underneath it, stopping where they start to die back, like these ones. Here is a different type of goldenrod, so a different type of solidago species. It has more of the bright yellow tops. Some of them are dying back, but some of them are still pretty yellow for the time being. However, another plant that is beneficial with leaflets of 3 is going to be our black raspberry bushes. These grow on a singular cane with a white bloom. This is a yeast-like powder that forms on the canes of our brambles. And then as well as having these thorns all throughout them and on the back of the leaves. Now, I know that this is a black raspberry and not a blackberry because the back of our leaflets are going to be white and not a solid green. As far as medicinal value, most of our bramble family is used as an astringent and a toner. When it comes to raspberries, either red or black, we often collect the new dark green growth versus the lighter old growth. And I dry these for teas, or I use them in a tincture to help as a uterine tonic or as a support for a menstrual cycle. But others use it as a nutritive, as there are a lot of vitamins and minerals found within the leaves that are soluble in water. So this friend here is Achillea millefolium, also known as yarrow, and this plant is fantastic in any tissue states where there is excess bleeding. So whether it be a wound or a heavy menstrual cycle, you would utilize this plant. You can dry it out for teas, you can put it in tinctures, you can put it in oils to include in salves, or it's even highly utilized in liniments, which are just tinctures that are for topical use only. But any tissue state in which there is excessive bleeding. Generally, we would harvest this in late summer when the white flowers are in full bloom. However, I've already collected all mine for the year. So right now I would be looking at just harvesting leaves. This is our yellow wood sorrel. This makes a fantastic edible snack when you're going out hiking. It's also known as like sour pickle, but they also produce these really pretty yellow flowers when they first bloom in the spring. Not necessarily medicinal, but really great to recognize as a snack for the side of the trail. They have these cute little heart-shaped leaves in groups of 3. Most people tend to confuse it with clover, but clover is actually really long and oval versus heart-shaped, like these ones.
Those are just a few plants that grow here in my backyard, but now it's time for you to find what grows in yours.